All right, everyone. It's good to see everyone today. Why don't we go ahead and get started? And I'll keep an eye out for anyone else who wants to join. And of course, we are live streaming this to our YouTube channel. So for those of you who signed up and weren't able to make it, hope you enjoy this recording. I will get that out to you this afternoon. Mello, PJ, thank you for joining us live. It's good to see you. If you haven't already, I pinned a PDF worksheet to the top of the meeting chat. You can download that. It's just a simple worksheet that you can fill out during this webinar or afterwards. I find it's helpful to sit down maybe like in a quiet space for 30 minutes to fill this out. It's really been helpful for our clients. This is some of the onboarding questions that we ask as we're developing their brand messaging. And so hopefully it'll be helpful for you and your firm. If at any point you have any questions, please let me know, but hopefully we can reserve a few minutes at the end to go over some specific questions that you may have. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll get started. All right. So clarify your marketing message, drive conversions, and connect with your audience. This is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a law firm. There's very few lawyers that I think really get this right. And when I say that's one of the most important things that you can do, it's because it's something you can absolutely control. And I always think back to like when I was in law school or interning for like the public defender's office. When we went into trial, we needed to have a theory of the case. And if we didn't have a clear theory for that case, then the message or the story for the client just got muddled up and it just wasn't clear and it confused the jury. And we weren't able to get a successful resolution for that client. And so when we're talking about marketing, we want to take the same approach. We want to have a clear theory of the case. So like, what's the case that you need to make to your prospective clients? And how do you clearly articulate that to them so that way they understand exactly what you do and how you can help them? So at Nomis, we use the power of stories to call people to action and drive results for our clients. Again, a little bit about me, just take a step back. I did go to law school. I practiced for a number of years. I just loved the storytelling aspect of being a lawyer. I loved writing briefs. I loved, trial ad. I loved my time interning at the public defender's office, and watching some of the best lawyers I know present their cases to the jury. And what I've always found is that the more powerful the story is, the more you're able to humanize your client, the better the outcome is going to be. So we want to do the same thing for your law firm. We want to have a powerful story that we can tell to your prospective clients, and we want to humanize your law firm so that it breaks down those barriers and they can really feel comfortable in reaching out to you. So I always want to make sure that when we are doing any marketing for a law firm, that people know exactly what the client does or what the law firm does and who they serve and how they do it. If you don't have a clear message on your website or any marketing materials that tells people exactly what you do, who you serve, and how you do it, that is probably ground zero for getting started with marketing. Look at your website, look at your promotional materials, look at your social media, and is it clear, to your clients what it is that you do? This is one of my favorite quotes. I believe Donald Miller may have said this first, the creative story brand. And he always says that clear is better than clever. And I see this all the time in marketing where people try to be clever. And you may see this as you're driving down, the street and you see the billboards with the catchy slogans and things like that. There is an element of marketing there where like we're trying to grab someone's attention and then explain what we do. But in today's, in today's like modern world with like so many different distractions, people really only have a small amount of time to make a decision whether or not they want to hire you or keep looking for another law firm. And so what we want to do is we want to be extremely explicit as to who it is that we serve and what we do. And so I love this saying, clear is better than clever. And if you don't get anything else out of this workshop, just take this approach to all of your marketing, whether it's a blog post, a social media post, an email, and just make sure that whatever it is that you're communicating to your client is clear. So we're going to walk through how to do this, and I'm going to go through some slides, and at the end I have a few prompts that are going to help us. It's going to seem extremely simple, but I can tell you right now that a lot of times the firms that we work with or the firms that we talk to, they skip over the simple parts and they jump straight into the more complex things. So today I want to just separate marketing from like SEO and pay-per-click and email marketing and all those different marketing strategies and talk about marketing messaging and like why that's so important. So 2 weeks ago, we did a workshop on identifying your target audience. Since those on this call may not have been a part of that workshop, I just want to briefly go over it because it is important. So to determine your target audience, we want to answer 3 simple questions. We basically want to fill in the blank here and just say, as someone who has blank, I want to blank so that I can blank. And what this looks like practically is, as someone who has been injured in an accident, I want to find the best lawyer in town so that I can pay my medical bills. And so it seems really simple, right? Like we just want to identify the person that we can help through our services. And that's really what's going to help us determine how we're going to talk to them. Now, in the last workshop, which you can get access to through our YouTube channel, we talk about creating client avatars. That way you can be more specific in your messaging. But for now, I really kind of want to leave it here. Who is it that you serve and how is it that you can help them? You also want to identify the problems and pain points. So external problems could be like medical bills, the loss of a home, parenting time, discrimination, et cetera, depending on the type of case that you handle. Internal problems can be like worry, anxiety, frustration, fear, lack of sleep, intrusive thoughts. A perfect example is a criminal defense attorney who represents DUI offenders. They have these intrusive thoughts of, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my marriage. I'm going to have a hard time getting a job. Maybe I'm going to jail. And so speaking directly to these internal problems is a really powerful way to market to that particular client. Then you also want to think about the philosophical problems. So like, are they going to hire the right lawyer? Are they making the right decisions? Are they being responsible for their life? These are all things that they're asking themselves as well. Then you want to discuss how you're going to solve all of those problems. Your brand message should empathize with your audience, establish your authority to solve their problems, lay out a plan of action for them, paint a picture of success. And a lot of times we fail to do this, and then tell people exactly what to do next. If you can create a marketing message that hits on all 5 of these points, you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of marketers as well as a lot of lawyers. So we're going to get into each one of these in a little bit more detail. So as we're doing this, remember, it's not about you, it's about the client. A lot of times we want to focus on like our accolades, we want to focus on the awards, all the great things that we've done. Those are all helpful in establishing authority and credibility, but it's just one part of the equation. We want to talk about how that experience and that, those accolades are going to actually help the client achieve their objective. So this little diagram here we created, we basically just want to show empathy for the client's problems. So naming the problem, letting them know that we understand where they're at, establishing authority. So talking about how we've helped people in the past and, maybe there's testimonials, maybe there's awards, something to demonstrate that authority to them. And then we want to provide that solution. So we're giving them some hope and we're telling them, what to expect next. All right. So showing empathy, what does this look like? You want to name your client's problem. So be explicit, tell them that you know exactly what they're going through. Describe the pain. So in this case, you're kind of agitating that pain, right? You're kind of bringing up those internal philosophical problems that they may be experiencing and telling them that you recognize that this is having a strain on their life. It's stressful for them. Then you want to anticipate objections. So is it costly? Is it time consuming? Do they just not know what to expect? Do they think they can do it on their own? Find a way to anticipate those objections and list them out. A lot of times, like if they see the objection written on their website or written in a social media post, it helps validate that their feelings are real and that they, and you're kind of respecting them in that sense. You're letting them know that you're hearing what they're saying and what they're going through. You also want to understand where they are in the process. Are they just looking for an attorney for the first time? Have they been doing research? Have they encountered the legal system before? Like, for example, are they a repeat offender? Are they someone who has gone through several different divorces? Or is this someone's first time encountering the judicial system someone who's been injured in an accident for the first time, someone who is going through a divorce for the first time, and they just really don't know what to expect. So understanding where they are in the process is going to help you have a more tailored marketing message for them. And then you want to provide a lifeline, a solution, a resource, an escape, something that's going to help them go from that place of pain to a place of success. You're also going to want to establish credibility. So, this is kind of the typical lawyer website that we see, where you got the arms crossed and you got the awards below, you got the case results and testimonials. Like I said, that is absolutely critical to your marketing, but you want to make sure that you're leveraging it to show clients how you're going to help them. So again, testimonials, Google reviews, case results, case studies, prior experience, all really important in establishing credibility and telling people that you are the one to help them solve their problem. Now, for a lot of clients that we work with, which are B2C clients, criminal defense, estate planning, or personal injury, case results can be a really powerful way to demonstrate credibility. For, let's say, a business attorney or a B2B law firm, it's a little bit harder, right? Like, we don't really have like a monetary a monetary award or a judgment that we can talk about with our potential clients. So case studies are a really great way to do that. So talk about clients that you've helped in the past. Talk about the success that you've had, talk about the scope of work that you did for them. So that way, when other similar businesses come to your firm, they can kind of see themselves in that, and they can see how other businesses like them were helped through that process. Then you're going to want to offer a plan, right? So you want to provide a plan that tells people exactly what to expect, solves every problem, anticipates every objection, talks about the people, the process, the tools, the time, and the cost involved, shows people how what they're trying to accomplish can actually be accomplished, and cause them to believe that there is a high likelihood of success. So a big part of this is just telling people exactly what you're going to do. If it's someone's first time going through the legal system or hiring an attorney, they may not know how you're going to help them. And you may take for granted these small steps that you take that are really going to contribute to their overall success. If you can tell them exactly what you do and kind of simplify it for them so it's easy for them to understand, that's going to help demystify the process. It's going to help reduce the risk, and it's going to help them make a decision to hire you. So I always like to consolidate too. So like, look to 3 to 5 different steps in your plan. Just as an example, let's say it's for us, a marketing agency. We could say, the first step is scheduling a marketing consult with our team. Second step is reviewing a proposal. Third step is signing the proposal and scheduling a kickoff call. Fourth step is your kickoff call and strategy call. And then fifth step, we launch your ongoing services. So right there, I provided a 5-step plan. And of course, there's like 100 things that go into each one of those steps, but it simplifies it for the client so they understand exactly what's going to happen when they make the first phone call or complete the form for the first time. So again, with the plan, you want to make sure that you're eliminating risk. You want to reduce the risk as much as possible. You want to set expectations. You want to answer the how question. So how are you going to do these things? And then you want to make an offer. You want to make a promise. You want to tell them this is what you can expect from this process. At the end of the day, really what we want to do is we want to anticipate those objections. So think about questions that you've been asked in the past. Think about why people haven't hired you in the past, and you want to be able to address those in your marketing message. So eliminating risk, what does that mean? Obviously in law, we can't guarantee anything. It's not like we can give like a money back guarantee, right? But with different practice areas, there's different ways to reduce the risk to the client. In personal injury, it's pretty clear: free consultation and no fee unless we win. That seems like a very, that doesn't require a lot of risk to call the attorney. Like, there's not going to be that upfront cost. If they don't win, they don't do their job, they're not going to get paid either. It's a really great way to explain the benefit of hiring the firm because the upside is so high. In criminal defense, you could look at something like flat fee representation. So like, instead of charging hourly, we have flat fee representation. We tell you exactly what that's going to be up front, and we'll give you a payment plan so that you can pay it out over time. You could also do something like the cost of a consultation will be applied to representation. That way you can get paid for that initial consultation as well. And then in business, look to your process. So do you have a client communication portal? Do you use Slack where someone can get access to you throughout the week? Do you have subscription pricing instead of like a retainer fee? That way people know exactly what to expect with their bill every single month. Flat fee representation also works really well with business. So just think about ways that you can reduce the risk to the client and explain exactly what it is that you do. All right, I love this one, enhancing the offer. So now that you've reduced the risk and you've identified the pain points, you've laid out a plan, enhance the offer. So scarcity, we only take on a limited number of clients at a time. Urgency, there's a statute of limitations for your type of case. Make sure that you file before the statute of limitations. Or a pending court date. Some of these court dates are coming up quick. You want to make sure that we have enough time to prepare. You could also do a bonus, waive the consultation fee if they sign up, for ongoing representation. And then with the guarantee, again, it's not a true guarantee, but no fee unless we win, something like that for contingency fee based law firms. Now, once you have an offer in place, one thing that I think is kind of an interesting way to differentiate your firm is to name the offer, right? So rather than doing a free consultation or an online trademark course or a sales call, think about naming it and branding it for your law firm. So could it be a free 15-minute DUI strategy call? Could it be 2 weeks to trademarks instead of the online trademark course? Could it be a free 1-hour video marketing consultation rather than a sales call? So these are all ways to name the offer. And of course, you could look at ways to incorporate your name into it, something that would really kind of set it apart. This is just a fun little exercise. So, if you look at your website right now, it says free consultation or contact us today. Think about a way that you can name it, brand it, make it more engaging. That will really be helpful with tying together your entire marketing message. All right, so once we have the offer in place, we've told people what to expect. We've empathized with them. We've established credibility. We want to call people to action. So we have two different calls to action. We have a direct call to action and a transitional call to action. Your direct call to action is going to be like the call us today or fill out this form today to schedule a consultation. A transitional call to action is for someone who's not ready to hire a law firm, but they know they need help and they want to take the first step. So think about like an ebook or a webinar or like a 15-minute case evaluation, something that's really easy for them to do. That's not a major obligation where they can just learn a little bit more. So again, you have that direct call to action, which is going to be for those like warm leads, the people that will contact you and get on the phone with you and go through the process and get everything started. Then you have that transitional call to action where we want to get their information and then we want to be able to nurture them as time goes on. So call your audience to action. Tell people exactly what they need to do to get started. Make it as simple as possible and connect the call to action with a successful outcome. So again, we don't want to just say contact us today because we don't really know what to expect when we contact the business that calls us to action in that way. We want to tell them exactly what's going to happen when they contact us. So contact us today for a free 15-minute case evaluation. You will talk to someone on our team about your case. We're going to ask, 5 simple questions about, whatever it is that you're going through, and we're going to evaluate your case and make sure that's a good fit for us. You see how much more powerful it is to say something like that with your call to action as opposed to just contact us today. You also want to make it as simple as possible. There is a time and place to add a little bit more friction to the process to kind of wean out the unqualified leads. But for most law firms, we just want to get more phone calls. We want to build our lead list. We want to make sure we're talking to people. And we want to make sure we're serving our community. A lot of times, good qualified leads can get lost in the shuffle when we have too many people or too many steps in place for someone to get in contact. And then finally, we want to connect the call to action with a successful outcome. And what do I mean by that? It just means that we want to tell people what will happen after they have that call. So could it be clarity in their situation? Could it be, taking responsibility? Could it be, maybe even like an initial step in representation? So We can help stop debt collections. In the case of like a personal injury case, like we can go ahead and set up your file, and we can go ahead and start working on collecting your medical records. There's a lot of things that you can tie to that call to action in terms of like the first steps. So that way someone sees like that immediate win, and they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident in reaching out to you. All right, so last but not least, we want to define success and failure for our clients. And what I mean by that is we want to sell the flight, or we don't want to sell the flight, excuse me. We want to sell the vacation. We don't want to sell them on legal services. Like, they aren't coming to you because they want to hire a lawyer. They're coming to you because they want to solve a problem that they're currently experiencing, or they want to get somewhere new, like let's say starting a new business. So focus on the benefits, not the features. Like, what's the outcome going to look like for you, and how will hiring your law firm be beneficial for their life? Like, how will you benefit them overall? And you want to show them what life looks like after representation. So they're probably not in the best place if they're contacting you and you're a personal injury attorney or criminal defense attorney. Show them what life can look like after representation. We've handled X, Y, and Z for you, and now you can focus on your future. You also want to look at failure. So what happens if they try to handle this on their own? Explain the pitfalls of the DIY legal, the legal process. Talk about what happens if they don't take action at all. So if they don't file a case, like will the statute of limitations lapse? Also talk about what happens if they hire someone else. If they don't hire your law firm, what are they going to miss out on? If they hire Morgan & Morgan as opposed to your personal injury firm, are they going to get the same level of care? Are they going to have the same connection to the attorney? Are they going to get the same number of updates? Explain to them how hiring your firm can benefit them over hiring someone else. And then at the end of this, we really want to make sure we're focusing on what the client's trying to achieve, and they're trying to achieve some sort of transformation. They want to go from point A to point B, and they want to use the legal system to improve their life in one way or another. It could be a change in their circumstance. It could be a change of perception. It could be a goal that they have, like starting a business or filing for a trademark. It could be something like an aspirational identity, right? So it could be like working with a top tier law firm because they want to be seen as someone who works with the best. So think about what they're trying to achieve, what that aspiration is, and use your marketing message to accommodate that. All right, so we just went through a lot on that initial structure that I laid out, which was showing empathy, establishing credibility, calling people to action, showing them success and failure, helping them see what it would look like to work with your firm. I also want to talk about standing out from the crowd, because marketing is a little bit about differentiators. If we have a clear and concise marketing message in place, that's great. That's kind of step one. But every other law firm may have that exact same statement. They could use the exact same statement. We want to find something that's going to help you stand out, that you can add into that, so that way it attracts attention and creates desire to work with you. So differentiators can come in a lot of different forms, and a lot of times we tend to overthink it. I'm going to give you guys 3 really, really easy differentiators that you can add to your website, to your marketing, like starting right after this webinar. So a couple things to think about. What are your differentiators? What are things that you can claim that your competitors cannot? And when you answer this question, you can clearly communicate what makes your law firm different from the competition. If you're not sure where to start, think about what you're offering. Think about how you get results. Think about your experience or your focus or your niche. You can even go a little bit deeper too. Like, is there a hobby that you can connect with your clients on? I know so many attorneys that ride motorcycles, or they surf, or they rock climb, or they live out of a Sprinter van for 6 months out of the year. And they use that to differentiate themselves as human beings from their competition. And people just feel like they get to know them a little bit better, and they connect with them on a more human level. Now, one of the first things you can do to establish a differentiator is using authentic photos and videos. So when someone is searching for legal services, they're looking for a lawyer that they can trust. By showing a photo of yourself and your team, you're building that trust even before they pick up the phone. A lot of times I see law firms go to like stock images to build out their websites and to build out like their social media profiles. The thing that I like to remind our clients about is that if you use a stock image, there's nothing stopping a competitor from using the exact same stock image. If you're using an authentic photo of you and your team, even if it's just on an iPhone, no one else can use that photo. And so right there, you're standing out. People are getting to know you and they're getting to put a face to the name. You also want to leverage social proof. So testimonials, case results, case studies, adding these to your website and to your marketing is a great way to differentiate your firm. Just like photos and videos, no one else can use your reviews. If someone leaves a review for your law firm, like another law firm can't use that, right? And so this is something that's truly unique to you, and you can leverage this to differentiate your firm. So just to kind of recap, because I kind of glossed over the first one, we want to make sure that we have authentic photos and videos. We want to make sure that we have social proof, which would be your testimonials, your reviews. And then the third one would be case results and case studies. Those are the three kind of like baseline differentiators that you can rely on to help your law firm stand out from the crowd. Now, real quick, I know we're coming up here at the end of 30 minutes. We do have a quick workshop that I wanted to walk through with you. If you have a pen and paper or you have your laptop open, these are some really great questions to answer. It's really simple. After this webinar, I am going to send these slides over to you so you'll have them. Don't feel like you need to screenshot them or save them. You will get the slides here. But really what we want to do first is we want to create a one-liner. So it's that really simple, clear, concise statement that goes on your website and your marketing that tells people exactly what you do, who you serve, and how you do it. So I just have a four-part fill in the blank question here, which is, I am a personal injury law firm based in Charleston, South Carolina that offers representation for people who have been injured in serious car accidents. It seems really simple, but I can't tell you how many times I've gone on a law firm's website and there isn't something that clearly explains what they do like that. You can obviously add flavor to it. There's a lot of copywriting techniques that you can add to create more intrigue, to create more interest, create more desire. But really, let's start here. Like if you can answer this and apply it to all of your marketing, it's going to make things a lot more clear for your target audience. Then you want to establish credibility. So just for example, you can say something like, since the year 2000, we have helped hundreds of clients just like you overcome car accident injuries. Again, it seems really simple, but if we take these initial steps to build that marketing message, it allows us to be more creative as time goes on. Then define your differentiators. So what sets my law firm apart from others is a commitment to offer unparalleled service along with the latest technology to make sure that you're always up to date on your case. And then finally, state your mission. I am, or we are, a law firm for people who've been injured in serious car accidents. Our primary mission is to make sure that they are put in a better place than they were prior to the accident, so that way they can pay their medical bills and support their family. So again, we're keeping it really simple here with these last 4 slides. We're not going into too much detail, but this is going to serve as the foundation for building a really clear marketing message. And then you can start to build on this using some of the other elements of marketing that we mentioned in this webinar. So that is the conclusion of these slides. We do have this workbook that I dropped into the chat here, and you can fill this out on your own, but this is really just a great way to start to identify what your marketing message really is. So taking this alongside of the slides that we're going to send you, looking at the law firm overview, the law firm overview, discovering your law firm story, figuring out like, what is that story? Like, how did we get started? Why did we get started? What types of cases do we handle? Who do we serve? It's really helpful in kind of identifying that core marketing message. Then we want to talk about missions and values. So One thing we did not talk about in this presentation is why. We talk about who we serve, how we do it, and what we do, but we don't talk about why we do it. That's also important, but that deserves its own its own workshop. But here's a great prompt that can help you get started and really kind of figure this out. Then below that, we have our differentiators. So again, looking at the things that can set your law firm apart. What are the things that you can claim that your competitors cannot? Why should someone hire you over another law firm? If they hire someone else, what would they miss out on, and so forth? And of course, hobbies and interests outside of practicing law. And then I love this little checklist. Look at your website and look at this list here and see if it aligns, if the messaging aligns here. Are you showing people on your website and your social media and your email marketing and your blogging what makes you different from the other law firms? So go through this checklist, and if there is something that you're missing, think about like how you can incorporate that. An easy one is reviews and testimonials. A lot of times law firms are lacking that. Even like an email testimonial from a former client can be enough to copy and paste on your website and use on social, as long as you have their permission. And then last but not least, establishing authority. So just some questions to help you identify those areas in which you really stand out as an authority or a credible source in your industry. A lot of times we do a lot of really good work and we get recognized for it, and years go by and we never think about leveraging it in our marketing. Sometimes it can feel a little, crass to do so, but it's really helpful for your client. So think about them and understand where they're at. They may just not know if you're the right person for them, and you really want to help build that trust and build that certainty that you are the right law firm. So if you take it from that perspective, that you are providing that service to them and you're helping them make that decision, it becomes a little bit more palatable to, quote unquote, brag about yourself. So I hope that you have enjoyed this workshop. I hope that this worksheet is helpful for you. If you do have any questions, you can email me directly at tyler.roberts@nomusmarketing.com. You can also go to nomusmarketing.com to learn a little bit more about us. And we have an option to sign up for a marketing consult as well. So feel free to do that. It's 30 minutes. We'll hop on a Google call and we'll talk through your marketing objectives and see what we can do to help you. It looks like we do have a few people chatting. So I'm going to hit end on the record button here and we will see if anyone has any questions. Yes, Mello, I will 100% send this to you. Let me drop it back in here, but then I'll email it back out and you can grab that. Let me know if you received that. Great. So Juliet, PJ, Mello, do you guys have any questions? Yeah, great question, Mello. So thanks, PJ. So Mello, the question is, and Juliet, yes, I will. So I had live streamed this to an unlisted YouTube link. So I'll shoot that out to you guys after this. You'll get it today. So Mel, your question is how to navigate politics in marketing and how you can avoid isolating people while connecting to others. This is kind of the hard thing, right? Because like you don't want to talk to everyone. You really want to talk to your ideal client, and you want to make sure that the messaging that you have is going to attract the right client. When we're talking about politics and marketing, are you talking about like actual like political issues that like are currently happening in the United States, or are we talking about like just kind of like industry politics and things of that nature? Got it. Yeah, social justice work. Perfect. So this is such a great question. And in the worksheet, we have a question under under the mission and values where it says, what does your law firm stand for? And the second question is, what does your law firm stand against? And I think it's really important to tell people, what it is that you stand for and what it is that you stand against. I think that it again depends on your practice area. Like if you are involved in those issues, it's important to talk about them. One of the things that I think is really unique about the legal industry is that lawyers are responsible for creating the law. They are responsible for policy change. They're responsible for helping people who are discriminated against or people who have been oppressed or forgotten. And so it's different than, let's say, a smoothie shop. They don't necessarily have the same means to affect policy in that way or affect someone's life in that way. And so I do think it's important to explain exactly what it is that you do. And I would do it without the fear of alienation. The ones that are going to take offense, or the ones that are not, that it won't resonate with them, they're not going to be your ideal client, and you're not going to enjoy working with them. I just think long term, like about our business, like we've turned down business where it's just not a good cultural fit because they want to do something completely different or something that just does not align with like our core mission and values. I think it's good to explain that in your marketing, so that way you can get the right fit for your clients. It's going to help you not only deliver better service, but it's going to help you avoid burnout in the long run. And I think too, if you're doing something that you're passionate about and you wear it on your sleeve, that's going to be something that gets you excited to go into work every day. So it goes beyond marketing. It goes into like the culture of the firm. It goes into, the service that you provide to your clients. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but I respect the brands that really stand up for what they believe in. Hopefully that answered your question. Specific examples about that, Mello, we do have clients that are civically active. And we've had clients that will come to us and say, like, we want to be known for being allies in the community, or we want to be known, for, representing underrepresented populations. And I can tell you that by doing that, it helps. Like, they may not get as many leads, but they get higher quality leads. Probably the best example that I have is a criminal defense attorney that works with people who have mental illness. They are super specific in who they serve. And even though it's, maybe a little less palatable to like the laymen who are in that community, it's a super powerful way to market to that community, and they're able to serve the people that that really need the help. All right, well, thanks, Mello. I appreciate it. If you do have any other questions, again, my email is, I'm going to drop it in here for you. I think that we're sending out everything through like our general email at hello, but mine's just tyler.roberts@Nomis Marketing. And then you can follow us on Instagram. We're trying to do a little bit better of a job of promoting ourselves. When you do social for clients all day long, it's hard to do it for yourself. So follow along, and hopefully, we can continue to connect. We'll also keep you on the list for upcoming workshops and webinars. So keep an eye out. And if you're on our list, all you need to do is click on the button and you'll automatically register. And if you're not able to come, we'll just shoot you the recording afterwards. All right. Thank you, Mel and PJ. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good day.